Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and today I'm going over how we got our last 5 house flip deals, and I'm going to teach others how they can get deals as well. And this is not just reserved for investors either. People who are going to occupy homes, people who don't have experience buying houses, can also get good deals too. And this is one of those houses you're looking at right now. This is the one that had the skate park in the basement, and this was for sale on the MLS, so anybody could have bought it. We ended up getting it, but we get beat out by owner-occupants all the time because they can actually pay more, they have less costs than us, and there's lots of different ways for owner-occupants to get deals. So don't think you have to be an investor, and there's kind of a myth out there too that investors are buying all the houses and overpaying for properties. It's actually the complete opposite. I want to underpay for properties because there's so many costs, repairs cost so much, there's so many things that can happen that we have to have tons of room built in the properties to get a good deal and make money on them. And we can't just raise the price of them at the end. We've got to deal with appraisals, neighborhood comps, other things as well. So we want to pay less than what a house is worth and then bring it back up to market value, not pay more and bring it over market value, because that's just asking for bankruptcy and kind of what Zillow did. It didn't work out very well for them. All right, so like I said, we bought this house on the MLS for $282,000-ish. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. Maybe it was at 285, and other people could have bid more than that and could have gotten a pretty decent deal. Just in this one instance, we ended up getting it. A lot of times we make offers on properties like this and get beat out. Happens all the time. And so how it works is a real estate agent lists this property. If you're working with an agent, they can help you find them. The listing agent can help you too, depending on the state and situation. But a lot of times these houses need work. As you can see, this was not a pretty house. It needed some work, needed quite a few things. So most owner-occupied buyers would not be interested in this. But there are some, and that's a fantastic way to build wealth. One of the best ways to build wealth is by buying real estate. And if you can get great deals, that just makes it an even better investment. And one of the stats I love to tell people is that 90% of wealth for those who make $100,000 a year or less comes from the house they live in. It's crazy how good of an investment real estate is, even for people who have no idea what they're doing and just buy a house. The fact you're using leverage, little money down, houses go up in value, and the fact that if you're not living in a house or if you're not owning a house, you're renting and paying money for a place to live anyway, so it really should go towards equity and mortgage pay down. And even with higher rates that make it tougher now, it's still a huge advantage, especially if you're getting a good deal, right? That's the key to it. And when I bought my first rental properties back in 2010, I was able to buy those properties because I got a great deal on the house I lived in. I bought it as a foreclosure, and less than a year later I refinanced it, took $50,000 cash out from that refinance, used that money to buy my very first rental property and part of it to buy my next rental property. And that's really what got me started on building wealth, is not just that personal house, but being able to use that personal house to buy rental properties and buy more rentals, and ended up buying 16 single family homes and started buying commercial and multifamily properties and own around 40 or so now. And it's just been absolutely amazing. And for the investors out there, we'll talk about different ways to buy properties and besides the MLS here later in the video, and how I got some of the other deals I've gotten as well. Now for buying on the MLS, it's not rocket science. It's not crazy difficult. Like I said, you're probably going to want a real estate agent to represent you as a buyer. I always recommend people use one agent. I am a real estate broker and agent myself, but I don't work with buyers or sellers hardly ever anymore unless they're friends and family. But what you want is one agent. A lot of people want to use multiple different agents and have them bring them deals. Well, it's tricky because the business is set up to work with one agent. Agents only get paid if they sell a house, not if they show you houses or anything like that. So if they know you're working with a bunch of different agents, they're probably not going to give you any attention or send you any deals if they find them. They're probably going to send deals to the clients they know are working with them. I sent a deal to one of my contractors many, many years ago. This is back, I used to list HUD homes and sell HUD homes, which are also a great source of deals. And I could not buy them myself because as a listing agent, I was prohibited from buying any properties I listed for HUD or most banks. And so I went to one of my contractors, said, hey, do you want to bid on this house? It's a great deal. You can flip it, make some money. They said, sure. So they submitted an offer through HUD. They got it accepted. I made some money by representing them, and then they went to list it, and they wanted to use me to list it where I could make money as an agent too. Nothing wrong with that or prohibited about that. So I told them what my commission I was going to charge them was, and all commissions are negotiable. They always have been. Even when this happened many, many years ago, they were trying to negotiate commissions with me. I think the big misnomer is that you can always negotiate. That doesn't mean both sides have to agree to what the other side wants, right? Negotiations don't always work. But in this case where I brought them a deal, I made them $30,000, $40,000 on this deal. I told them, I'm not going to negotiate because I made you all this money, and I'm for sure going to bring any future deals to somebody else if you want to beat my commission down. So realize that if you want agents to bring you deals, if you want them to be a huge facilitator in finding these deals, treat them right, make sure they know you're going to use them, and that's why it's really important, I think, to use one agent, make sure they're a good agent, shop around, make sure they're fast. It doesn't hurt if they're young and go-getters either. I think a young go-getter who might be inexperienced is better than someone who's super busy and doesn't have time for you. But try to find a really good agent who can send you deals right away. Hopefully they can set up alerts where good deals are sent to you, matching certain criteria through your email. You can always search Zillow and Realtor.com, sites like that too, but those aren't always updated as quickly, so usually you want an agent trying to find you deals as well. And a really good agent can help you find deals. And I'm an agent myself. I can help. I can search the MLS myself. I can set up my own alerts. I can go show houses right away and look at them, and that's a huge advantage for me, a huge advantage for investors who are agents too. But regular buyers, regular investors, if they have a really good agent who can act quickly, can act in that same way. But realize you've got to be flexible, right? If you've got a really good agent and they tell you a great deal popped up on the MLS and you need to go see it, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm busy this weekend and I'm busy, maybe a week we'll go take a look at it. It's going to be gone by then. You've got to be willing to act right away, go get that property, go see it. You've got to be willing to make an offer that same day. So you've got to have all your ducks in a row. You've got to be pre-qualified. You've had to have talked to a lender already. You've got to know what criteria you want, and you've got to be willing to act ASAP on these. So a lot of people tell me, oh, there's no deals on the MLS in my area. Everything just sells too fast. Well, if it's selling too fast, and there are good deals, right, they're there. It's just you're not the one getting them, but you can do it. And then for owner-occupants as well, you do have an advantage on buying some of these properties. One, I mentioned HUD homes before. HUD homes are government foreclosures. You have to have an agent to bid on those as well. But most HUD homes have an owner-occupied only bid period, where for the first 10 days, only owner-occupants can bid on them, no investors. So you have a huge advantage. Quite a few foreclosures do that same thing, where they have a owner-occupant only bid period. You have an advantage there. And then on this particular house, right, I've got to repair the property. I've got to pay contractors. I've got financing. I've got selling costs. If I'm going to sell the house, I'm going to flip it. So I've got to pay other agents. I've got to pay title insurance. I've got $20,000 more in costs probably than someone buying this as an owner-occupant who wants to slowly fix it up. And because of that, that owner-occupant can pay $20,000 more than me and still get just as good of a deal. And they're not paying rent. Their financing is going towards where they live. So that's why we're beat out by owner-occupants all the time, because they can pay more, get a great deal, build equity, and really get ahead in life by getting these deals. So you don't have to just buy from the MLS as an owner-occupant. There could be FSBOs for sale by owners. There could be some auction deals we'll talk about later that you could buy. That's a little trickier. There's some other ways to find deals, but MLS is definitely the easiest. And like I said, we are still buying properties from the MLS. We bought this year in 2024, and this property is probably worth $400,000 once we fix it up. And we do have some updated videos of it too. The skate park is no longer in there, and this is the skate park I was talking about. So yes, a lot of times the houses that are great deals have issues and problems. But again, as an owner-occupant, you don't have to fix them right away. You can live there and fix them up slowly, or if you don't want to use this basement, keep it at the skate park, whatever you want to do. The thing to think about as an owner-occupant is, hey, can I get financing on the property? So again, you want to talk to your lender, be like, hey, if the roof is bad, it could cause problems. If it's got broken windows, if the plumbing leaks, if the electrical system's bad, those can all cause problems with getting a loan as an owner-occupant. So it's tough to buy really, really bad properties. but ones that are cosmetically damaged, have weird skate parks in them, those might work great for you. And there's also other loan options like the FHA 203K, which is a rehab loan that allows you to buy pretty much any condition property. The trick with that is most sellers don't want to deal with FHA 203K because it takes so long. It can take over 60 days. There's a couple of appraisals. There's more costs. But once again, HUD will take 203K loans all day long, no problem, and gives no preference to cash over 203K. So that's another great option. So there you go. There's one way to get a deal. That's how we got this deal. The keys again: have a great agent, be ready to act quickly, be pre-qualified, have all your ducks in a row, and be willing to act fast after being very patient because these deals don't come up every day. It might take a month or two or longer before you find that great deal, but they will pop up. All right, let's move on to another way we got a good deal. This is the most recent house we bought, and we haven't even started fixing this one up yet. We're going to hopefully start it pretty soon. We bought this from a wholesaler. So it's a lot trickier for an owner-occupant to buy from a wholesaler. It might be virtually impossible in some cases, but investors can buy from wholesalers all day long. Now, the big difference is there's no inspection, there's no appraisal. It's very hard to get financing on a wholesale deal. So that's why it's tough for owner-occupants. On the previous house, you could have gotten an inspection to see what all was wrong. You could have gotten an appraisal for your financing, etc. But on these, no. So a wholesale deal basically works. Another investor, wholesaler, finds usually off-market properties. Sometimes they find them from the MLS too. But they find a property where they send postcards or have signs or billboards or websites, and the seller wants to sell it, but they don't want to list it on the MLS for some reason. It might come with pretty pictures like this too. And so they'll get it under contract, and then they'll tell all their investor buddies or post it on their list or post it on Facebook, hey, we've got this house under contract. We're looking to assign the contract or do a double close. You can view this house at this day at this time, and they'll give any other information needed. All wholesalers are different. Some are great and have lots of deals. Many people try to wholesale and never get a deal. So just realize, just because someone says they're a wholesaler doesn't mean they're going to be amazing and sending you tons of deals. They might never send you one. This particular wholesaler is awesome and gives us deals all the time. So it's great working with them. So basically what happened on this property was they sent it out to their list. I saw it come up my email. I saw it was in Greeley where I am. So I'm like, okay, I'm interested in this one. I confirmed the time to see it after looking at the pictures. I went and saw the property. Then I submitted a bid online. Not all wholesalers have online bidding systems like this one does. A lot might just be an email or a text or a phone call to say, hey, I want this. And then they actually negotiated with me because they had a higher bid, but they'd worked with me before. And the other bid had an agent. And so they thought mine was more likely to close, so I ended up buying it. I think I paid $295,000 for this one. Again, it's probably worth around $400,000 too. It needs much less work than the other one, so it's willing to pay a little bit more money. Now, finding wholesalers, things to watch out for wholesalers. I just did a full video on this before, so I won't go into too much detail. But just realize, verify all their information, verify all their documents. Especially if you're a real estate agent, you still have to abide by state laws and disclosure laws. Just because you're, taking over a contract from a wholesaler doesn't mean you are not responsible for the process and how it works. And then realize too that the wholesaler's prices could be way off, the repair estimates could be way off. Just do your own due diligence. And then also, like I said, there's no inspection, there's no appraisal. A lot of times people are selling homes off market because they know they have issues and they may not be disclosing everything. By law, they're supposed to disclose everything. Doesn't mean they do. And if they don't, most people aren't going to sue them to try and, remedy it or get any money back. So just realize there's a lot more risk and things that can go wrong in a wholesale deal. There's more costs on a wholesale deal. You have to act quicker. And you have other competition too, because there could be other investors who want it, who are bidding higher. And there's just a lot of different things going on with it. So this is definitely a way to get deals though. We bought a couple of wholesale deals already in 2024, this being one of them. And don't discount wholesalers because you met 8 who are bad and don't have deals. Like I said, the really good wholesalers will make up for it if you can find those, but it takes some time, takes some work. I tell people, if you want to find a good wholesaler, right, reverse engineer how they're finding deals to find those wholesalers. If you happen to be an investor and you get postcards from people trying to buy your house, could be a wholesaler. Call them up, email them, say, hey, I don't want to sell my house, but if you get deals, let me know. If you see bandit signs along the side of the road, call them up, text them, say, hey, do you have any houses for sale? If you find any websites for we buy houses in your area, again, ask them, get on their list, etc. Search Facebook groups for properties being listed for sale by wholesalers. All kinds of different ways you can find wholesalers, and you can get really good deals that way. But just realize, just because a wholesaler posts it doesn't mean it's a good deal. It could have lots of issues and lots of problems. So that's one way we've been getting. This is another deal we got. It was a townhouse flip, and this we got through networking. Another great way to find deals. And owner-occupants can do this too. Not quite as easily, because things just really have to line up perfect for the time you want to buy, the right person, but it doesn't hurt to try. But for investors, this is a fantastic way to get deals. So I get deals from all types of people I've met. Title companies. This one came from my bank. This property was pre-foreclosure. The bank gave the lead to 3 different people they knew to see if they could get a deal done before it went to foreclosure. We all talked to them. I ended up getting it. And that was a new one for me. But title companies, lenders, banks, home inspectors, other agents. I get deals from other agents all the time. YouTube I've gotten deals from because I have my YouTube channel. Social media I've gotten deals from. Friends, family. There's so many different ways to get deals. And that's basically just, letting people know, hey, if you're an owner-occupant, I'm looking for a house, I'm looking for a particular property. Again, that's a lot tougher. But as an investor, you'd be like, hey, I'm always looking for good deals. I'm always buying properties. Let me know if you hear of anything. And even if you do it, right, and people know you're an investor in buying houses, they might not always know how you're doing it, or that you're looking to buy houses from off-market sellers. So it doesn't hurt to tell them what you do, how you do it, and that, hey, if you ever know anybody who's wanting to sell their house or get rid of it, let me know, because that's what I do. And like I said, we've had lots of referrals about lots of properties this way. And there's a few keys to doing these deals. Again, if you're an agent and you're doing off-market properties, you want to make sure you're doing everything legitimate, doing contracts the right way, disclosures the right way. Different states have different laws, so make sure you're following exactly how to do that. We always have a letter accompanied with our offers that says, hey, we're making a profit. We're licensed agents. We might be buying it below market because, hey, you want to sell it quick or whatever. And I'm also very honest about what the property might be worth, what our costs are, repairing it. I'm not trying to fool or trick anybody. And people realize that, right? People understand if they're selling off market, they're trying to sell it quick, they're probably not going to make as much money. So the key to getting network deals is not lying, not trying to cheat people, doing what you're going to say, what you say you're going to do, and just being a stand-up person who people can trust. If you're always trying to, squeeze out the most pennies you can, you're going back on your word, you're trying to mess around on inspections and different things, get better deals, people are going to stop referring people to you. They're going to stop working with you. So we always do what we say, make it very easy, as easy as possible, and that's why deals keep coming back to us. Don't mess around, because it's just not worth it to save a few $100s, but cost yourself deals in the future. Now, I also want to mention, too, I have a program, a course I just updated, redid a bunch on finding deals on investormore.com, my website. It's like $30 after our discount. It's super affordable. And I also have a financing course as well that I just created and just completed this a little bit more, but goes over how to finance these properties as well. And I'm also having a sale on my complete blueprint program, which includes those and comes with email coaching directly with me, and we do conference calls every month. We've had that program for a long time, tons of cool people on it. So those are all on sale this weekend, and it'll extend a little bit farther than last weekend, since you're probably seeing this video after the weekend. But by the weekend, I mean Saturday, Sunday, Monday, possibly Tuesday. And the blueprint program is $600 for lifetime access, no monthly fees, nothing like that. And like I said, we've had people in that program for years who are, and it's cool to build friendships and meet people and help people along the way. So if you're looking for a little extra help, a little more information, I do have those available. So this property I bought for 230, and we have it listed for 315, which isn't a huge margin, but it needed very little work. It is taking a little longer to sell than most of ours. I think that's it. It's being a townhouse / condo, but hopefully that goes under contract soon. Higher interest rates have made things a little bit tougher to sell too. Everyone's kind of hoping rates would go down this year, and it's looking like they may not. So we'll see how all that goes. A lot of you know my feelings on interest rates and that, so I'll save that for another video. But still a great deal, still an awesome deal on this property. And we've got a few more that we bought in different ways too. Here's another house we recently bought for $285. Was it $275? We got a good deal on that one, and sold it for just under $400,000. Pretty quick, easy flip. That was a really great one, and we got this one from a wholesaler. In fact, the same wholesaler who we bought the other one from. But don't worry, I'm not going to go through the whole wholesale process again. I'll tell you maybe how those wholesalers are getting deals to help you out and learn that process. So we've done this before too, but basically direct marketing is where you are trying to get off-market deals or find people who are selling properties or want to sell their property but don't want to use an agent or haven't got around to using an agent, don't want to have it shown. Lots of different reasons. This house was disgustingly dirty and had tenants and had lots of issues, and that's why this seller didn't want to put it on the MLS. Well, I told you the process of how we bought it, but how did that wholesaler find this deal? Well, many wholesalers will send out postcards. So they'll say, hey, we want to buy your house, or we're looking for properties like here's the neighborhood. There's all kinds of different ways to send those out. There's multiple companies, too, who are built on sending postcards to houses. Lots of different companies that will do that for you if you don't know how to start, where to get going. Again, I've got more information on that in some of my courses and programs, too, on how to do it. We've bought a number of houses using postcards. I haven't sent out any for a while, but it takes some work and time, and that's why. Just like anything worthwhile, it costs some money. You're probably sending out a couple thousand postcards to maybe get, 10 calls or 5 calls, and of those 5 or 10 calls, maybe 1 or 2 deals, maybe, and you've got to talk to, all those people. It takes some time. You might actually get more calls than that because 10 leads and maybe 10 more people who are mad you sent them a postcard, and 10 more people who want more than it's worth, and there's lots of different things that come into play, and it really helps to answer your phone, and it adds up to being a lot of work and seeing different properties and talking to people, and even if we don't always buy a property, sometimes we can help them list it or sell it or different things, but it's not easy to find these deals. It's definitely not easy. Like I said, that's why most wholesalers don't ever get deals, because they're not willing to put in the work and the time and effort to do it. So you can find a good wholesaler, that's awesome. But there's other ways too. Bandit signs, those are the signs on the side of the road that say we buy houses, or, burn down houses wanted. There's all kinds of different signs like that. They're not legal in every area. A lot of cities say they're not legal, but you still find them popping up everywhere. Sometimes you'll find websites, right? Or you can have a website for We Buy Houses. You can have Facebook ads running to find different people. You can post different posts. You can, post your own post or your own Facebook and social media talking about the houses you're flipping and what you're doing and saying, hey, we're always looking for houses. You might be able to pay some referral fees depending on if you're an agent or not. Always check those laws to encourage people to send you deals and if they know of anybody. And then there's other ways to look for deals too. You can search Zillow, Craigslist for sale by owners. We found deals that way as well. You also might find wholesalers on those sites as well too. Driving around looking for, for sale by owner signs is a way, and driving for dollars, which we might talk about here in just a second, is another way to find good deals as well. But there's lots and lots of different ways. And direct marketing, there's just so many different ways to find deals in off-market properties. Some people run Google ads as well, where they're running an ad on Google. If people search, sell my house fast, their ad will pop up. Those are very expensive to run because there's lots of competition. But, if you get a deal from those ads, it could make you tens of thousands of dollars. So that's why they're expensive to run, because a lot of times they more than make up for the cost to run them. So lots of different ways to find deals, lots of different opportunities out there. You don't have to do all of them. I don't do all of them. I try and focus on what works best for me. And honestly, what's always worked best for me is the MLS and working with wholesalers and, networking too. So we run postcards once in a while. We do have a website and get leads from that once in a while, not too often. And we had a gentleman call just recently who saw I think, my website and we went and saw his house and made an offer, and we thought it was going to get accepted, but then they kind of ghosted us. So that's another thing you deal with some of these properties. If sellers are in a position where there's weird situations, they don't want to list it, they don't want to sell it, you just got to be ready to put yourself into some of those weird situations and never count your eggs before they hatch. Realize some weird stuff can come up, and be prepared. That's for sure. So this house worked out great. Great deal from a wholesaler. Like I said, I don't want to talk about wholesalers this whole video, but that's how we got this deal. Now we'll move on to the next property and how we got it. This was an auction house. So many different websites have auctions for houses that have already gone through foreclosure. That's how we bought this property, and you can bid on them online. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're buying them sight unseen or with tenants in place. There can be a lot of risks and a lot of crazy things going on with these properties, but they can be good deals. Just remember, they're not always good deals. Sometimes other people are willing to overpay. That doesn't mean you should be willing to overpay. But auction houses can be good deals. Just realize sometimes you won't be able to do an inspection, appraisal, or even see the house. Sometimes you can do all of those things. It just depends on the auction. Sometimes there's a buyer's fee. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes they'll guarantee free title. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes it's, you're taking huge risks on buying these auction properties, and these are houses that are bought after the foreclosure sale, which is a different auction. So that's another way to get deals. We don't get too many from auctions, but once in a while we do. Like I said, this was a pretty rare one to get. You're looking at another auction house that we got as well a few years ago that was bought sight unseen with tenants in place, or the previous owners were in place, and we had to do a cash for keys deal, pay them to leave. There's a lot of crazy situations that can come about from auction houses. Now, there's also the foreclosure auction, the public trustee or the courthouse steps, the judicial sales, however it works in your state. That's when you're buying a property as the foreclosure is being completed. Usually, the bank forecloses on a house, and before they can take possession or basically buy the house back, it goes up to auction so other people can bid on it if they want to. Those are even riskier. You might have to bring cash that same day. Most of the time, you can't get inside the house. It's actually illegal to go inside the house. There could be tenants. There could be occupants. Who knows? And we used to buy a ton of properties from those sales. We don't anymore just because the competition has pushed prices up so high, and there's so much risks involved in those, it's usually not worth it. So there still can be good deals depending on where you're at and what you're looking for, but those are kind of the higher risk, higher reward ones, and lately the reward hasn't seemed to be that high for us or worth it. All right, so there's some of the ways we're getting deals, some of the other options too. I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, if you're an owner-occupant, don't feel like you can't get a good deal or you're pushed out by investors, because you actually have quite a few advantages on certain types of housing, like HUD homes, foreclosures, and you can actually pay more than most investors on these properties too. If you're an investor, there's lots of other ways to buy properties, off-market, auction, wholesalers that owner-occupants probably don't want to do or can't do in some cases as well. So there's opportunities for everybody. And as I said before, I've got a course on investormore.com. I'll try and link to that below in the comments on finding deals. Also, one I just completed on financing properties, and then my complete blueprint, which kind of brings everything together, has a ton of information on all kinds of investing, rentals, flips, financing, repairing, all that stuff, plus email coaching analysis with me directly. And then I do calls every month with that group. Those are a lot of fun to answer questions and give short presentations as well. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're finding deals if you're still investing in this crazy market. And we'll have more videos of these deals we're getting, properties we're working on, of course, the businesses, the laundromats, the liquor store, all of that coming up soon.